Before a seller signs a contract with a buyer, they usually sign a contract with their agent, and that document is the listing agreement. And it matters more than what most sellers realize. A lot of sellers think the listing agreement is just a form that allows the agent to put the home in the MLS. But that is not really what it is. The listing agreement defines a relationship between you and your broker. It sets the terms, it sets the price, it addresses compensation. It gives authority to market the property, and it explains what happens during the listing period. So instead of treating the listing agreement like paperwork, I want you to think about it as 5 decisions. First, who are you hiring? Then, for how long? Number 3, at what price? Number 4, under what compensation structure? And number 5, what is the marketing or cancellation expectations? If you understand those 5 decisions, the listing agreement becomes much easier to evaluate. I'm Mark Meras with Paragon Realty Advisors, and in this video, we are going to explain the Texas listing agreement in plain English. This is not legal advice, we are not attorneys. If you have a legal question about the agreement, definitely speak with a qualified attorney. But from a listing strategy perspective, these are the questions that every Dallas-Fort Worth seller should understand before signing. The first decision is, who are you hiring? The listing agreement is usually between the seller and the broker. The agent may be the person you meet with, talk to, and work with on a day-to-day basis, but the agreement is with the brokerage. That matters because a brokerage is a party providing representation. So before signing, you should understand who is representing you and what that representation actually includes. Are you hiring someone to put your house online? Or are you hiring someone to advise you through the pricing, preparation, marketing, negotiation, contract terms, buyer qualifications, inspection issues, appraisal risk, all the way to closing? These are very different things. A strong listing relationship should be advisory. The agent should be able to explain the market, not just quote a price. They should be able to explain the likely buyer profile, the competition, the showing strategy, and what could cause a listing to stall. The listing agreement starts that relationship. The second decision is the listing term. How long does the agreement last? This is not just a calendar issue. The term should match the strategy. A property that is priced aggressively and a high demand price point may not need the same listing term as a unique luxury property with a smaller buyer pool. A vacant home may have a very different strategy than an occupied home. A seller who needs to sell quickly may need a different plan than a seller who is willing to wait for the right buyer. The question is not, what is the shortest term I can get? And it is not, what is the longest term the agent wants? The question is, what is a reasonable amount of time to execute the strategy, measure the market response, and make adjustments if needed? This is how sellers should think about the term. The third decision is price. This is where most sellers spend the most time, and understandably so. But the list price is not just a number. It is a positioning decision. It determines which buyers see the home, it determines which homes you are competing against, and it determines whether buyers feel urgency or hesitation. It also determines whether your home looks like it's a strong value, a stretch, or an overpriced listing. In DFW, this is especially important because buyers are more payment sensitive than they were a few years ago. They are not just looking at price, they are looking at the monthly payment, taxes, insurance, HOA, condition, and how much cash they need or may need after closing. So when a seller says, let's price high and see what happens, that may sound safe, but the market does not always work that way. If buyers do not see the value, they may not come. And if they do not come, there is no negotiation. So before signing a listing agreement, sellers should ask, what data supports this price? What are the most relevant comparable sales? What active listings are competing with us right now? What homes fail to sell at similar prices? What price bands are we entering? What buyer objections are likely? What is our plan if the first 2 weeks are quiet? That last question is important. A pricing strategy should include a response plan. If the market gives us feedback, what do we do with it? The fourth decision is compensation. Sellers should slow down here and understand what they are agreeing to. Compensation is negotiable. The listing agreement should explain how the listing broker is compensated, when compensation is earned, and when it is paid. It may also address whether the compensation will be offered or considered for a buyer's broker, depending on the structure of the transaction and the current market practice. The key point is this: do not just ask, what is your commission? Ask, what is the net strategy? Because a seller's real goal is not simply to pay the lowest fee. The real goal is to maximize the best net outcome with the right balance of price, terms, timing, risk, and certainty. A lower fee does not automatically mean a better net. A higher price does not automatically mean a better net. A quick sale does not automatically mean a better net. The entire structure matters. Before signing, ask, how is compensation handled? What happens if the buyer is unrepresented? What happens if the buyer asks for concessions? How does this strategy affect buyer demand? How does it affect my likely net proceeds? That is the right conversation. Then the fifth decision is what you expect from the marketing plan and what happens if things do not go as planned. Putting a home in MLS is not a full marketing plan. Professional marketing should begin before the home goes live. That may include preparation advice, staging guidance, professional photography, video, 3D tours, property descriptions, launch timing, showing instructions, online presentations, agent-to-agent exposure, feedback tracking, and pricing review. But sellers should also ask the direct question, what exactly will happen after I sign? Not vague promises, not we market everywhere, specifics. What are we doing before launch? What are we doing during the first week? How are we measuring the response? What happens if showings are low? What happens if showings are strong but offers do not come? What happens if buyer feedback points to condition, price, layout, or location? This is where a good listening plan becomes valuable. Now, cancellations also matter. What happens if the relationship is not working? What happens if your plans change? What happens if the home does not sell? Can the listing be canceled? Are there conditions? Are there fees? Is there a protection period after the listing ends? These are not uncomfortable questions, they are responsible questions. A professional advisor should be able to answer them clearly. Now let's walk through a simple seller scenario. Let's say you are selling a home in Frisco, you meet with an agent, they suggest a price. They say they will put it in MLS, do professional photos, and market it online. That all sounds fine, but before signing, you should run through the 5-decision framework. Who exactly am I hiring and what advisory role will they play? How long is the agreement and why? What is the pricing strategy? How does compensation work and how does it affect my net? And what is the actual marketing plan and what happens if the listings do not perform? This is a much better conversation than simply asking, what do you think my house is worth? Now, here are the red flags. An agent who suggests a high price without explaining the data. A vague marketing plan. No discussion of showing strategy. No discussion of buyer feedback. No clear communication plan. Compensation language that is not explained. A listing term that does not match the property. Or a seller signing without understanding cancellation terms. And here are the green flags. A clear pricing framework. A pre-listing preparation plan. A defined launch strategy. Professional presentation. Regular feedback review. A plan for low showings. A plan for no offers. Clear compensation explanation, and a seller who understands what they are signing before the home goes live. Before signing a listing agreement, ask, what is the strategy? What is the timeline? What is the marketing plan? What is my net expectations? What are my obligations? What are your obligations? What happens if the market does not respond? And what happens if I need to cancel? This is how you turn a listing agreement from a paperwork into a strategy. At Paragon Realty Advisors, we believe the sale starts before the sign goes in the yard. It starts with the right plan, the right price, the right presentation, and the right agreement. If you are thinking about selling in Dallas-Fort Worth, reach out to us before you sign. We will help you understand the strategy behind the listing and not just the paperwork. If you found this video helpful, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you will be notified of all current and future content. And make sure you leave us a comment below. We read every one. Thank you for watching this video, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. All the best.